Welcome back. Another episode of Gritty Iron Gang. Due to some technical difficulties, we have a doubleheader for you today. We have our Week 6 picks and a Week 5 recap. Given that we are giving you 2-in-1, we're a little short on time, so we have a few games I'm just going to skim over. Let me know if you want to talk about any of them. Cincinnati beat Arizona. The Jets beat Denver. Philly beat the Rams to stay undefeated. And then Monday Night Football, the Green Bay Packers went on the road and lost to the Las Vegas Raiders. So, did any of those four games strike your interest?
I don't think we have to really recap those. I think we can just kind of discuss them as we go with the picks and everything this week. So, yeah, it's a little bit different format today, obviously, but yeah, I think as we go and preview these upcoming games this week, I think we can just kind of hit on anything we want to talk about from the previous game.
Okay. So we'll start with Thursday Night Football then. The Chicago Bears were on the road at Washington, getting their first win of the season, winning 40-20, doubling up the Commanders in points. For the second week in a row, the offense looks pretty good. Washington, I think they really squandered an opportunity in this NFC to stay in that race for the playoff spot. NFC East, I know they had a rough week, but NFC overall, they're right on the cusp of that competition, and losing to a team like Chicago is really going to hurt you in the long run. As far as Chicago goes, like I said, the offense looked good. DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, specifically for 2 weeks in a row. They're combined 28 for over 400 yards and 7 combined touchdowns. So those guys have really come to light over these past 2 weeks. Justin Fields looks like he's taking a step in the right direction finally. Yep. What do you think about the Chicago team in this win on Thursday night?
I actually think it was pretty impressive. I mean, we've been talking about how bad they've been all season so far and just like how much of a letdown Justin Fields is, but they showed some promising things. They've been working on getting rid of Chase Claypool over there, who came over from Pittsburgh and was a bust of a trade because, dude thinks he's one of the more elite ones in the league, and
He's just not.
I know for a fact I am not like the rest of the guys in the NFL.
Talk, yeah.
I know I'm a top 5 receiver. Yeah. I know I'm a top 3 receiver.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
keep going. Keep going.
I just got to prove to the people.
Not really sure what his role is going to be over there in Miami either.
They just like those fast guys. So, but, Chicago, the way, especially the NFC North is looking, they're still in the running to not be the worst team in the North.
For sure.
So
we'll talk about that in a little bit too.
So and especially on primetime football, I think it was nice to have like DJ Moore show out like that, and Justin Fields, he didn't look terrible, but it's not like he's doing anything special. He's just more so being smarter with the football, and finally kind of force feeding DJ Moore, which is what you brought him there to be, is that playmaker. So kudos to them for really getting that thing, as what it seems to be, somewhat turned around. But you finally showed you don't look like the worst team in the league this week.
You don't. I think somebody else is taking that title. We can get to that later too. Chicago, great win. Like I said, Washington, you got to do better. You're still in that race. You got to bounce back strong like some of these teams did in Week 5. One of those teams being Jacksonville. They were on the road at Buffalo. Overseas again for the second week in a row. You can touch on that later. Trevor Lawrence played really well. Very efficient. 3 touchdowns, over 300 yards. Josh Allen did the same thing, over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. Diggs and Gabe Davis both had over 100 yards and a touchdown. So the offense was clicking for Buffalo. 25 points. You should win a lot of games giving up 25 points, given the talent Buffalo has. I think losing a guy like Matt Milano, the offense is really going to have to step up and score more than 20 points going forward. Losing him and Trey White in back-to-back weeks, the defense is going to take a step back. So I think what we've been seeing from Josh Allen is a good sign. He did have a turnover this week. You're not going to be perfect every week. I'm not blaming him for this loss at all. Talk about Jacksonville being overseas again, how that probably benefited them.
Yeah, I just think, they had a game there last week against Atlanta, and they just got to be able, they were able to stay through their next game this past Sunday. So you get 2 full weeks there and an extra week there compared to the team you played in Buffalo Bills. And I just think sometimes that does play a factor into performance, because especially with a team who's going over there on for a short week, and you don't get much time to acclimate yourself to the time change and whatnot. Well, you already got a team who's been there, who's already got their their sleep clock or their circadian rhythm adjusted to be over there. So look, sleep performance and recovery and all that stuff, it does play a role in how you play on Sunday.
For sure.
So I do think that benefited them, but it's just hard with the Bills right now because it just seems like, they had that great week against Miami, but then even though it's overseas, it doesn't give you a reason to kind of lay another egg the following week against a team like Jacksonville, who's trying to establish themselves in the AFC, which they haven't done yet. But like I said last week on the preview, this is a game they want to, at least put up a fight and make close, if not win the game, because it kind of shows like, hey, we're to be taken seriously too in this conference. So, and I think they were able to do that. But for the Bills, it's just like they just seem to always be. It's like just a hot and cold game every other week type thing where they'll show up and then they don't, and they underperform or they overperform.
I agree.
So it's just they don't have the consistency there to really truly believe that they've done anything different this off season leading up to this season to put them over that hump that they've missed the past 2-3 seasons.
Yeah. Similar to Jacksonville, Bills are a team. Like you said, they're not as consistent as you like them to be. They're obviously a better team, so we don't talk about them that same kind of way. Jacksonville, though, they got their offense clicking, which is probably the big reason why they won this game.
Yep.
Etienne, 2 big touchdowns, rushing the ball over 100 yards, and they're really 7 for 122. So if they can have a nice little 3-head monster going, Jacksonville can be a problem for a lot of teams in this league.
For sure, yeah. I think that, and that plays, to me, it comes back to, Coach Doug Peterson. I just think, they definitely got the right guy for that job at the point they were in throughout that organization where it was at, especially with the whole Urban Meyer thing and whatnot. They really were able to nail a head coach that was able to turn things around rather quickly. And so that's a credit to him. And then obviously, that trade for Calvin Ridley is starting to pay off. So
it is.
They're a team that, you get them in the playoffs, they could do a little damage.
They can be scary
for a game or two.
Yeah, they can be. We have to do it. Baltimore on the road at Pittsburgh, had it in the bag, took the L 10-17. What can I say? I feel like I almost blacked out after we lost this game. Baltimore completely gave this one away. Dropped 2 touchdowns. Dropped 2 more passes that could have put us in scoring position. Blown coverage on defense to lose the game at the end. Kenny Pickett hits George Pickens up the sideline. Easy money. There's just not a lot to say. I mean, a lot of people are going to blame Lamar, and trust me, I'm the first one to tell you he needs to be more consistent. He needs to make better decisions with the football. If our receivers help him out, he has over 300 yards, at least 3 touchdowns, and he's not the issue. And the whole conversation around him is different. That wasn't the case. It came down to Lamar having to make plays. He underthrew OBJ in the end zone, which was looking like it was supposed to be a jump ball.
Right.
There was no opportunity for a jump. Joey Porter Jr. intercepts it. Then as he does so well, he's due for 1 every week. Next possession comes out, fumble, TJ Watt picks it up. That's game. So Baltimore, you should be 4-1 easily. Somehow you're 3-2. But any given Sunday, you know how it goes. So Pittsburgh, credit to you. One team I never count out. You got us.
I don't know what. I mean, I was predicting. I know it's only 5 games in, but I was predicting all along Lamar to come out and have taken that next step after he got his contract and he got his money and all this and that. After what we had to witness play out the past couple years regarding it. So and then finally getting a few playmakers on offense to throw the ball to, and it's tough, man. It's just that consistency is not there. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. I mean, because he's, to me, the most dynamic quarterback in the league. When he's on point, he's a force. But ball security issues and
okay, we get to practice every day. We play our music, whatever the song is these days. Ski. We warm up. We do our shit. We go to individual drills. What do? Ball security. It's the first drill of the day. What is the your team?
Oh, I know.
What is the problem?
I know.
I just don't understand it, bro.
It doesn't make sense, and it's very frustrating, especially when you're getting paid millions of dollars to hang on to the football and score points. It is a tough pill to swallow as a fan when you have to watch it.
Drops and
Very
fumbles
less
every
than
week.
product. It's bad. Look,
I mean, turnovers are just
it's just
They're the ultimate key.
they're inevitable. They're gonna happen sometimes, but in crucial situations where you know how big the moment is in this point in time in the game. I mean, whether it's first play or last play, it's just. I mean, and I say that because Josh Oliver, first play of the game against Kansas City, you know what happens. But it's just things like that, and then especially when you're leading the league in turnovers, it's just that like what is going on? Like you can't make it up, because who really is gonna predict? Obviously there's gonna be a team each year who leads the league in turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
But you just never know who's
What are
gonna
the
be.
signs pointing to Minnesota being that team?
Exactly. That's what I'm
You know what
getting
I mean?
at. It's like you just can't make it up. It's just, but then I think it really boils down to the accountability from the coaches, especially head coach. That's where I think it boils down to. And I think when you don't have enough accountability in the locker room amongst your team saying, hey,
See, that's the thing with our team. It's always, at the press conference, we'll be better. It was on me. I'll be better. We'll come back stronger next week. Are you? Do you even mean that? Because it doesn't look like it.
right.
Because every week you're fumbling the ball. This interception, it shouldn't have happened. We had a 1st and goal on the 5.
Right.
Handed it to Gus Edwards for 2 yards. Do that 2 more times. But no, we want to run a trick play that Mark Andrews flip pass like we're fucking Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. Back at the 5. Now we're stuck. 3rd and 5 from the 5. And we throw up a lob to OBJ on a bum ankle. Had a bum ankle. Caught a 9-yard slant. Went out of this game with a bum ankle. And it's like, we're a fucking running team. I don't care if
yeah.
you pay that guy $100 billion. Make the smart play. Because they pay Jalen Hurts over there. They'll run that motherfucking rock till there's no air in it. So that's our identity. Defense run the ball. Defense has been phenomenal this year. Lamar has had his moments. I thought he's looked more efficient this year than he has in the past. Like I said, if those receivers help him out, this isn't the conversation. But
Well, and then like we were talking about earlier, it's just like that, especially that pass in the end zone to Mark Andrews. You never see it go through. You never see it go through his fingertips like that.
And Bateman, like I told you earlier, shame on me for trusting the Golden Gopher. Lakes are frozen up here. There's no boats rowing anytime soon. Houston on the road at Atlanta. I kind of think coming into this game, we're kind of believers in Houston. Coming out of the game, I don't think C.J. Stroud had a turnover. So as far as that,
I still believe.
in
Yeah, I still believe
and
in what they're
offense
doing.
Isn't really the issue. The passing offense specifically, I think Damian Pierce in that run game needs to start getting going to help him out a little bit. And then defensively, I thought was really surprising for Houston to give up.
Yeah,
I mean, nobody should give up over 300 yards at Desmond Ridder.
no,
And Kyle Pitts finally had his awakening.
right.
Drake London, they both had about 75 yards on 6-7 catches each. So
But see,
if
this
they can find that balance with Bijan, no way Ridder's going to keep throwing for 300 yards.
No.
But those are your 3 weapons that you need to utilize. And if
Right.
Atlanta can do that with the defense they have, they can be a sneaky team.
Yeah, I agree. I still need to see a little bit more of this team as a whole to truly like kind of lean more towards the I'm starting to believe type thing. But with Houston, I'm definitely still believing what they're doing because by no means were we predicting them to have like a great year or anything. Mm-hmm. But one thing I will say, even though I think they really should have beat Atlanta,
Came down to a last-second kick.
yeah, I just think they started poorly, they finished strong, so to me they should have won the game. When you think about it, if they just started a little bit stronger,
Mm-hmm.
but. Credit to Atlanta for pulling out, but I still think Houston's going to be one of those tough out teams throughout the year. They're not going to go away. They're kind of that little dog nipping you in the heel all the time, and you just wanting to punt the shit out of it. But they just don't go away. They keep nipping, and that's a credit to what they're building over there, culture wise, and just like the players buying into what D'Amico's doing, and I think he's a great pick for head coach for them. C.J. Stroud's looking like he's going to be the star and the head of the face of the organization. So, and then you got pieces like Stingley and Will Anderson and whatnot. I mean, that team is, before you know it, I think they're going to be a playoff team.
They have some star power.
Yeah. I think they will end up, I'm not going to say next year even, but I think within 2, especially 3 years, we're going to see them in the playoffs again.
The receiving core could be better. I'm not sure what the deal is with Robert Mechie. I thought he was supposed to be playing this year.
Yeah, I don't know.
Robert Woods has been, productive. So is Tank Dell. He left last game with a concussion, but he's finding some weapons out there and making something out of nothing. And with no turnovers, with not the best weapons, it's, I believe in this Houston team to an extent.
Right.
Tennessee at Indiana will stay in the AFC South here for a little bit. Indianapolis, excuse me. 17-23, Indianapolis Colts get this victory. Obviously, the big story is Jonathan Taylor's return.
Yep.
Zach Moss ended up stealing the show, though. Had over 100 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Anthony Richardson gets hurts his shoulder in this game. Was it his throwing shoulder? Or do you know?
Yeah, it was his right shoulder. He landed, I think they said, I don't know the grade of it, but it was some sort of AC sprain or,
AC sprain out about a month.
Yeah, I think they said he could be out about a month.
I don't think he's finished a game yet, and this team is 3-2. I think a lot of that has to do with Gardner Minshew, probably one of the most valuable offseason pickups. Because without him, they're an easy 1-4. He's came in, played very well this last game, played very well against Baltimore, arguably made some of the biggest plays of those games, helped win this game, help win those games for Indianapolis. He will be the guy going forward for this next month. I don't know how I feel about that, but I always have had faith in Gardner Minshew. So with the way that they've been playing so far, and
it helps. It lessens the blow of AR going out when you get JT back.
It does.
So I think that's going to even progress Minshew into a more of a
game manager
who doesn't have to do a whole lot to win games. It takes the pressure off of him.
I just like him. He doesn't really make a lot of mistakes. He's smart with the ball. I think Indianapolis will be fine. Obviously, Anthony Richardson, way more dynamic.
Right.
He can do more with the offense, but he's been playing well. Gardner Minshew probably would have been the smarter choice to start the season, but AR's been playing well, so I don't mind that at all.
Yeah, and to your point there, it's like I think we're about ready for like the training wheels to come off AR, because I think he's shown enough in the passing game where you need to let him progress now. And really take those lumps as they come, with mistakes or turning the ball over or whatever. Because look, he's shown he's better than advertised in the passing game, what people were predicting him to be. So I think it's time you gotta, especially with JT back now, you can kind of, when he comes back, just let him kind of drop back and do his thing, and not have to execute a true running game around him. So
yeah, I think JT was 3 yards, 4 yards a carry. You expect him to start slow. Didn't really get a lot of opportunities, but going forward, you're going to have to lean on him a little bit more.
Right.
Zach Moss isn't the biggest guy. Who knows what his durability is going to look like. So I think that's a nice little 1-2 punch when AR gets back.
Yep.
Well. This team really don't have any receivers that I like, but they're finding a way to score. They're finding a way to win games. So
yeah,
they can be another one of those sneaky teams.
Yep, I agree.
New Orleans at New England.
I don't have much on this game at all.
35-0.
Look, I've put too much credence into Bill Belichick as a coach. I think it's starting to really show like Brady has a lot more to do with those winning seasons and Lombardi's over there than Bill ever had. Granted, I think he's a great one of the great coaches, in history based on win record and all that. But this is starting to, show that Brady is like the GOAT of football.
He was what kept that engine running.
Like, if you don't have Brady all those years, I'm going to guess you might have one Lombardi, if that.
I kind of like comparing it to Greg Popovich and Tim Duncan, if you're a basketball fan. San Antonio Spurs for 19 years, damn near guaranteed 50 wins, just like Patriots. You're guaranteed 11, 12 wins every year. Tim Duncan leaves. Obviously, we know he's been gone for 7 years now. They haven't been good. Just got the number 1 pick in the draft, Wembanyama. New England, Tom hasn't been gone for 7 years. but they might be the worst team in the league.
They might be.
They started off the season 20 points, followed that up 15, I think, or 17, then 15, dropped to 3, and then now you're at 0 this last game. I thought things were supposed to change. You have an all-time coach. You finally have an offensive coordinator. Mac Jones didn't look this bad his rookie year. I don't know why he's whatever the opposite of progressed is. Can't think of the word right now. Regressed. I don't know why he's regressed, but this is just bad. I don't know if Bill's going to be able to take much more of this.
I don't even know what to say. It's just the team is just not good all around. It's just not.
It's not even like trap game or
no.
Storm.
I think
New Orleans got their ass whooped last week. They did what they were
that's the thing is to lose 34-0 to New Orleans. Like out of all, you guys are kind of built the same way.
Yeah.
Like you kind of are. It's kind of like you always like to say the Spider-Man meme. It's like looking in a mirror. That's what I was going into this game thinking. Like, oh, it's going to be a pretty good dogfight because they're pretty much the same thing. But boy, I guess I was wrong. I don't even know what to say about it. Just New England's truly bad. That's all I got. They're hot garbage.
New York at Miami, 16-31. Miami's Miami. I mean, they're going to drop a 30 ball on you whenever they roll out of bed. New York, pretty similar roster to what they had last year. They obviously got swindled by this Daniel Jones nonsense. But Tyrod Taylor is a very capable backup. I think he's more than capable of leading this team to a 9-win, 10-win season if he starts from week 1. I don't know when this team or if they're going to pull the plug, but NFC's wide open. Everybody just got their ass whooped last week except for Philly and San Francisco.
Yeah.
I might make that move pretty soon here, if not week 6. I'm going to be putting Tyrod Taylor in for Daniel Jones, and it might be a blessing in disguise that he goes out with that neck injury, depending on what the injury is.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, hope it's not too severe, but Tyrod might get the nod this week, and I think that might help the Giants out going forward.
I agree. I mean, I've been saying all along, not all along, but like there was a couple points last year I was saying like put Tyrod in like.
We were, and then because like last year the Giants started slow, but then they started winning, and it was like, oh, Daniel Jones, he looks great.
Yeah.
We were fooled as well.
Yeah, I don't even know how. I don't even know how that happens. Like how he just pulls one over your eyes like that. It's like,
bro, his numbers he threw for like 16 touchdowns. They were terrible numbers.
Yeah,
I don't know how that happened.
Like, but I knew this offseason. I was like, you're making a mistake paying that dude this money.
Yeah,
I knew that was a fact. Like, there's no way you're gonna extend this dude with that type of money and come away looking good. Like.
That reminds me. I'm not going to say it's a mistake, but I don't have more faith in Lamar than I have in Dak Prescott right now. So paying a guy that money when you're not going to be able to make the plays in the clutch, it's tough, but proceed.
No, yeah. Well, that's all I got to say about Daniel Jones and New York Giants. It's just like that's going to be a big regret for a long time.
That sets you back almost half a decade, if not more. Because what are the chances you're going to hit on the next one?
Exactly.
You didn't really hit on Eli. You got lucky.
Honestly. He forced his way there.
Yeah, that too. I wasn't even thinking about that. What do you say? I'm not going to the Chargers?
Yeah.
So, whatever. Bums. We have Carolina at Detroit, a 24-42 loss. And after the Bears won last week against the Commanders, the Panthers remain the only winless team in the NFL. But we're not here to talk about the Panthers. We're here to talk about the Lions. Without Amon-Ra St. Brown, their best weapon, Jahmyr Gibbs, arguably their most explosive weapon. I understand it was against Carolina, but you and I both agree that we like Carolina's defense.
Mm-hmm.
This team put up 42 points without those guys, and I think that's very impressive. Aiden Hutchinson, that's a bad man right there. He's a beast at that DN position. He had a one-hand pick out here. He's doing DB things. I think he has more picks than all 4 top DBs combined right now in the draft. And he's making the tackles off the edge. He's getting pressure on the quarterback. This Detroit team every week is impressing me a little bit more. What do you have to say about the Lions? Are you finally going to give them some respect?
I think they've earned it now.
I think so too. And I understand it's against Carolina.
Yeah. No, but it's how they're winning games, dude. And and it's even that Seattle game, they didn't give it away. I mean, you could argue that they did a little earlier in the game, a couple boneheaded mistakes and whatnot, but it's the way they're responding to that game. overall. It's the way they're responding each and every week to just up their performance. The coaching job by Dan Campbell, and then especially OC. I forget his name.
Brad Johnson.
Ben Johnson or something like that. Yeah. So I think especially him, the way he's calling that offense, it's like they're out there for blood. You can tell that they want to score on you each and every play. And that's the type of shit that I love to see in the NFL. That earns my respect, because this is a cutthroat business. This is what we should be doing to other grown men. I'm going to score on you every single time. Mm-hmm. And they're not afraid to run the scoreboard up. They're not afraid to go for it on 4th and 1 or 4th and 2 when you don't think they should.
Right.
Like, they're out there they're not there to defend themselves. They're there to put the beat down on you. And that's what I respect. And I think what's so fun about this Detroit team this year is they got a swagger that no other team has. Even the 49ers. The Lions, they have a swagger that no one else has. And I truly stand on that. I just think that they go into every game thinking we're the best team here. And you have to prove to us that you can beat us.
They're whooping ass.
And you're doing it with a quarterback like Jared Goff. I'm not taking credit away from him or anything like that, but who would think like a Detroit Lions organization with a QB named Jared Goff is going to do much, you know?
Put it together, yeah.
But they are very well coached. He's growing as a quarterback since he's been traded. Mm-hmm. I think Dan Campbell deserves Coach of the Year. I mean, just the way they're building it too. It's like there's really no weak spots. They're just very good all around. There's no really star power.
Not a lot of household names,
but it's very good overall names that are solid. Mm-hmm. And that to me is what wins games in the NFL. It's not, you can't have 1 or 2 or 3 stars and just be satisfied. Like, mm-hmm. And there's a lot of teams who end up doing that. But when you truly go about your business and as a GM and getting the best football players you can at every position, they might not be like star power names or household names, but they're very good football players. And that's all that matters in this league, is getting W's, hoisting that trophy at the end of the season. And hey, it may not be this year because I think they're a little step behind, San Fran.
For sure.
But
Lord have mercy.
But I think that game could be a fun NFC Championship
it'd be
game.
Fun as hell to watch. Hell yeah. That's strength on strength right there.
Like that, and you got coach on coach with Shanahan versus Dan Campbell. Like, mm-hmm. that's Hollywood right there. That's that type of, like, we're ending the season on this note. So, I mean, look.
San Francisco is stomping on asses this year. Ass stompers versus the knee biters.
And that's the other thing, too, is obviously San Fran, they should probably end up with the number 1 seed in the NFC if I had to guess. But to think if Detroit did somehow get a number 1 seed and then the playoffs had to go through Ford Field, that place is going to be the loudest it's ever been. Like,
that would be crazy.
That would be insane to watch, bro.
There's a chance for it. 4-1.
No, there is. There's definitely a chance. It's only 5 games into the season. So, but anyways, on the Detroit thing, it's just I'm very impressed with them. I do give them their credit. It's just for those first few weeks, it's like I don't know if this is real because we know what Detroit's about. But look, I eat my words. Detroit deserves all the credit they have coming their way, and based on my team this year, it's like we can't get much worse. So. But it's nice to see a team like Detroit, who's been in the cellar for so long, finally have that kind of success. And you feel for their fans too, because I don't think a fan base should ever have to go through as much torture as a group like them. And they, even through their decent years with like Megatron and Stafford or whatever, I think they had one very solid season, which was like 2014 or 15 or something like that. But then they quickly fell off again. So I mean, they're slowly but surely turning that thing around, and they've hired the right people, I believe. And it's just, it's fun to see one of those bottom feeder teams finally rise to prominence whatever you want to call it. But no, I think Detroit, it'd be fun to see them make some serious noise in the playoffs.
Yeah, to those points of them being a bottom feeder and those fans finally getting what they deserve, I think that's what makes games like this really fun when Detroit's at home, because you haven't seen good football in 50 years.
Right.
When you have a chance to be a division winner, when you're blowing teams out, putting 40 on their head, I know that place is fucking going crazy. They managed to get a home playoff game this year,
right?
Which they most likely are going to.
Yeah, but like in the how you don't when you watch when
those
you
fans are almost like college fans. They're so hungry
right
for success.
exactly.
They haven't seen any of it.
And when you're so used to watching like Detroit games against your team, whether you're Bears, Packers, or Vikings, twice a year, and them being the worst team in the division, excuse me, you get to see like just how much it's like an empty stadium or it's so quiet and this. But now that you're watching the games, it's a packed house each week. It's loud as hell. They're having fun over there. And they know, and they're trying to put on a show for their fans.
Hell yeah!
So it's credit to them, man. I think what they're doing this year, they're especially with my team being such a shit show. It's fun to see someone, especially in the division, who I don't hate as much as Packers, Bears. I don't have any ill will towards Lions. I mean, I probably will eventually now that they're becoming relevant and good. But for now, it's we're okay right now.
That's always how it goes. We'll talk about your team right now, though. When we move to these afternoon games, Kansas City was on the road in Minneapolis, taking on your Vikings, getting the victory 27-20. What'd you think about this one here?
Look, it's the same old bullshit each and every week, turnover after turnover. I mean, look, first play of the game, you get a little, I don't know if you want to call it a screen or a little out to Josh Oliver, breaks it off for about 13 yards, nice stiff arm, but he's running into 3-4 Chiefs defenders to tackle him. And he doesn't cover the ball up, and helmet pops it out, and you knew right then and there the game was over. You right then and there because Chiefs are going to go and score.
There's some teams where you can get away with that.
Right.
Mahomes giving the ball start the first and second half.
It's a wrap.
Kiss your day goodbye.
And I mean, I guess somewhat credit to the Vikings. We only lost 27-20, but
they did have a chance.
Like we had a chance up until the end, but and I'm not going to come on here and just. Talk about the bullshit officiating because it was bullshit, but that's not an excuse why we lost. It's just not. Like, we're just a bad football team. And everyone's got to just accept it in Vikings country because we are a bad football team this year. And I think with JJ now going out on the IR, I think you have to consider putting him on ice, or you got to face the fact that, hey, JJ might say, hey, I was very professional all offseason waiting for my contract. You didn't want to give it to me. I've talked positively.
Ooh, I forgot about
I've talked positively through up till this point. We're losing games. I'm not coming back until you want to pay me.
That's terrifying.
So it's either one of those two things. Like he's gonna not do that, and we still kind of let it play out where he might miss the whole season because it's a wash season, or you're gonna start hearing drama trickle in with the whole contract situation, and JJ, look, I'm not playing again. We're not winning. What's the point of coming back? Because if you're hurt and you're a star player like that, the season's going nowhere. Why would you come back? You get a whole season to rest that hamstring up and make your career a priority. That's the way I look at it.
If you're not in a position to win, it makes a lot more sense.
It does. And then I think you got to start thinking about possibly trading Danielle Hunter. You got to bring it up to Kirk. I know he's got a no trade clause in his contract, so that one's probably more not realistic in my opinion, because I don't think he's going to up and move his family or move away from his family for half a season.
Right.
So I think holding on to Kirk is probably the move, and you're going to have to live with it throughout the season. But I think you got pieces that you can trade and be sellers at the deadline, so you can acquire more picks or shed more cap space. Because look, I think.
How mad are you going to be? I mean, Danielle Hunter's price has probably not been higher than it is right now. You trade him. What do you think? 3rd round pick?
I'd take a 3rd at this point.
You just trade it right back to the Lions like you've been doing these past 2 years.
And that's I think, look, I'm not going to get on here and talk about Kwesi because I think people know how I don't like Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah. I think he's a terrible GM. Send him back to Wall Street where he belongs. But I think you have to give him at least one more year to really see a full 3 years of what he's capable of doing and not doing. Because I think if you go past next year and we're in kind of the same boat, because we're going to have a lot more cap space this offseason. So you got to kind of say, okay, here's his opportunity to show how he can truly build this team this offseason with this amount of cap space, how this draft class comes out this next year. Look, there's still enough time to turn around and show that you're a better GM than what you've been putting out there. Same with Kevin O'Connell, but I think with Kevin O'Connell, it's time for him to take a step back and be like, okay, me as a play caller is truly not working and benefiting this team. I need to be overseeing this operation as a whole, kind of being like that bird in the sky type thing, and saying and giving my opinions on each side of the ball, offense, defense, special teams, be more focused on clock management.
Yeah, him and Kirk got to get that down.
So I think
it's just play calling or the ball security. That's the problem.
No, I think it's a mixture of both. Especially the turnovers, obviously number one. But I think the play calling was pretty bad all last year too. But
Kirk is what, top 3 touchdowns, pass yards.
Right, but it's not even. How do I explain this? It's not just strictly play calls or whatever. It's the game management overall that he's doing, the time management, the use of challenges. But like the play calling, it's
tough to burn up all 3 of your timeouts as early as you did
yeah.
last game too.
And for me, but with the play calling aspect of it, it's just the constant screen game, or like, we're force feeding KJ when Addison's shown already he's much better. I know you're not in control as a coach of who drops passes or not, obviously, but drop passes have been a problem of ours too. And TJ is definitely not living up to the hype of his contract that he just signed. So I don't know what to make of it. I just think drastic changes are needed from top to bottom. And I'm not saying you blow it all up right now or anything like that because it's still year 2. But my God, dude, like you got to really consider being sellers at the deadline, acquiring more draft capital, whatever. But kind of just like letting it be known, like, hey, this is not our season. We got to make some changes. Mm-hmm. We got to pivot to a different way of thinking and going about this, because at this point we're playing for a draft pick right now. So, and I'm not saying you go out there and purposely tank or try to lose or anything, but at the same time, without JJ, especially on offense, it's going to look worse, even worse.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just think you kind of look at it as it's a lost season, and you do what you can to bring in a hell of a free agency class. You obviously want to get JJ secure, but that's your number one priority, is securing JJ for the long haul. Mm-hmm. Then after you get that done, then that you turn your attention to who are the key free agents and good football players we can bring in here to help us on both sides of the ball. And then you go and you have a much better draft class than you had the past 2 years.
Easy.
It's easier said than done. But, I mean, that's the way I think about it. Like, because, look, Kwesi needs improvement as GM. KOC needs improvement as head coach. One thing you can't take away from them is they're great fucking salesmen. Like, they came in here and selling like it was nothing. Like, making everyone buy into what they're putting out there in the air and the positivity and, all this stuff. And I'm one who bid on it. But at the same time, it's like, you can just tell, though, at each press conference with KOC especially, it's just the constant positive. It's like everyone gets a medal type mentality. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm sorry, but in this business, that makes a very poor head coach.
I agree.
So that's what is so frustrating about this. Look, if we were losing, if we were the team we are now, and we had, I'm not saying Mike Zimmer, he kind of proved what he could do as a coach, and he couldn't get it done. But with him, though, you could at least expect every press conference, if we're playing this way, he's calling dudes out. He's showing he's pissed off.
You need a mix of both.
Yeah, I think you got to have a coach that has a healthy, and I think that's what's so great about Dan Campbell. He talks in his press conference if it's a bad game or bad plays, like we expect more out of this guy, or we expect this to be, how to execute. But if it's good, he's praising his guys. He is a that's
a good example.
Very balanced coach of positivity and being hard on you.
Because KOC seems like he's all positivity.
It's all sunshine and rainbows.
No accountability.
Yeah.
But Zimmer,
it was too. Yeah.
And Dan Campbell seems like he'll get on your ass and hold you accountable.
But he loves you up.
But I love you at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I'm coaching you the right way.
Yep.
So, yeah, you got to have a mixture of both.
And it's tough. It's just, but it makes for such a long fucking football season when your team is the way it is. Especially talking about the Vikings. It just makes it hard to enjoy the football season as much as you usually do because, look, even if obviously there's 5 games in, there's plenty of games to go. There's going to be good moments. There's going to be probably a lot more bad moments. But what can you do about it? It's just now this is the opportunity as a fan for me being a fan of the Vikings. I focus on the NFL as a whole more than I usually do now. And really get to know each of these teams, what they're about. And I do that fairly good for the most part, but it's even more now. Like I can throw other games on while the Vikings play because I'm not sitting there so invested that like, hey, we're gonna go to the playoffs this year. I gotta be tuned in. Mm-hmm. No, I can have my multi-view on the screen with the Vikings on and the other games, and that's where I'm at. It's just kind of like I'm still the hardcore fan I always am. I bleed purple, but it's like you can't fool me. I'm not gonna buy into this. Well, there's just only 5 games. We could go on a run. No, this team's not going on a run. You don't lead the NFL in turnovers 5 games into the season by the amount you do, and think everything's okay.
It's not just gonna change.
No, this is a accountability issue. This is, I just think I don't know, man. I think the way Kevin O'Connell is, it just seems like these players are too relaxed.
You never want your boss to be that way.
No, you need to get your ass chewed out sometimes.
Doesn't make for good business.
You know what I mean? Like you deserve an ass kicking once in a while if you're not doing the right thing, if you're not executing the right way. It's just a bad look, bro. It's like we are one of the laughing stocks in the NFL right now because of how bad we're playing.
Right.
That's not okay. You should not feel okay and say, I'm going to keep positive because I believe in this team and I believe in these coaches. And this is not the time to say that. This is the time to say people are going to have to start riding the pine if this shit keeps up. Mm-hmm. And you're just not going to play if this is the case, like, period, point blank, like, and just show some tenacity in your press conferences, like, that you actually care, not like, oh yeah, just didn't go our way today, and we'll get back to the grind tomorrow, and I'll try to execute as best we can against the Bears. No, fuck that. Like, we played piss poor. We should have won at least 3 of these games now.
You should be 3-2.
So. No, we're not here for the excuses anymore. We're here to own up and man up to the bullshit we're putting out there in the field. Our fans don't deserve this. The organization doesn't deserve this. We're better than this. So, and that starts with me.
Yeah, Zimmer was a dickhole, but he would have said, we fucked off 2 of these games. We should be 3-2. These guys in the locker room got to be better. I got to be better. No one's probably going to talk to me, come to my office during my business hours because I'm unapproachable, but like, I am a hard ass, and some teams need that.
So, yeah,
this soft shit is not good.
Look, and as much as we've grew to be so sick of Zimmer by the end of his tenure, the beginning years and the middle years, that 2014 to 2018, say,
I feel like it was every other year though.
It was every other year, but I felt more like there was it just felt like there was a chance all the time with the team
until the end.
Yeah. these past 2 years, even last year, even though we were somehow 13-4, I'm like, this is not a good team, dude. This is just not a good team. And now it's boiling into this season where it's like, this is not a good team.
Yeah. This is not a good team.
It's not. And I think you say, this is Kirk Cousins last year as a Minnesota Viking. Point blank, period. He's going to have to find somewhere to end his career. Because we cannot continue to grow as a team or who we want to be with him as our quarterback. You just can't. It's time to say, hey, we had a great 6 years, even though it wasn't great. It was mediocre at best. But, you got to say, hey, we got to really start looking at our future now. We need to build a team that's consistent year over year. And quite frankly, even though Kirk's putting up great numbers, he still frustrates the hell out of me watching him. The constant one read throws, the constant sitting in the pocket too long and taking a hit and not throwing it out of bounds.
Oh, he's a tough motherfucker. He takes some hits.
Yeah, I know he is. But it's the boneheaded mistakes he makes, like when you should throw out of bounds, but you just hold on and take a sack. Why? Why are we looking to KJ at the front left pylon the whole way and still throwing a 99-yard pick six? Why are we doing these things? He looks like, I've said it since his Washington days, just Kirk just annoys the hell out of me when I watch him. It's just the kind of, oh, golly, shucks, I shouldn't have thrown that.
Well, that's exactly who he is, too.
You know what I mean? But that's
probably why him and KOC are like
that. Is probably why they're best friends outside of the locker room.
Cuss me out, Kirk. Don't fucking dang nabbit.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Who is this guy? I can't get behind that. Especially if you're not going to show up clutch when it's time to show up clutch.
Look, I love my Vikings. I'll always love them, but I just think there's serious issues within that organization right now that have to be ironed out, and it has to be quick, because if it's not, KOC and Kwesi will be out at the same exact time, just like Spielman and Zimmer, and it might be after next year.
The only emotion I saw from KOC was that potential missed call at the end of the game, whatever that little scenario was.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be the case. Game's over at that point.
No, right. You're exactly right.
I don't know. But here's a little consolation prize for you. Dallas did play San Francisco, if you call it playing.
Yeah.
San Francisco did a lot of playing with them.
Cowgirls.
12-40. You got it from here.
Look, I've said I had to eat my words a couple times with the Cowboys as of late, but they're true frauds, bro. If you're going to put that type of team out there with that 49ers team, and you're going to say laugh now, cry later.
And still talking shit.
Bro, saying you're just as good as them? No, you're not. What game were you playing?
Saying they don't want to see us?
What? 42-10 is not just whatever.
And it's not just whatever when they beat you in the playoffs.
You're not going to win anything with Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott, or just one of them. You're not winning with them. Jerry Jones, you got it wrong again. You can't hire coaches. You can't draft quarterbacks, and you keep handing them contracts like it's nothing. These are Cowboys through and through. This is Jerry's world.
Jerry, yeah. I don't know if that's ever going to turn around.
Look, I just think, and you got cornerstone pieces with Trey Diggs. You got Micah Parsons. You got stuff to build around. But it's just kind of like Kirk Cousins now. They have to reach their boiling point with the quarterback play. We realize we're not winning with this quarterback.
Credit to Dallas because they came in 13-3 Dak's rookie year. It was a lot of run offenses, a lot of Zeke, and the offensive line was elite. They've changed their style. Dak has led the league in pass yards, over 5,000. It's not on the coaching staff, really. Outside of Mike McCarthy, the defense is one of the better units in the league. Now, this last game, travesty. Trey Diggs obviously hurts not having him, but 42 points.
One thing I will say that I would respect the hell out of Jerry and Dallas if they got rid of Mike McCarthy, but they replaced him with Dan Quinn. If they did that and they made that move, I would respect the hell out of them because I think that's the move they ought to make.
Yeah, their offense is fine. Defense is fine. I think Dan Quinn is more suited for head coach. as opposed to Mike McCarthy. I just don't. He's never been the guy. He's only been successful with a top 10 quarterback all time.
Mm-hmm.
That should tell you something.
Well, and then look, it's like you had to this past Sunday pretty much you had to make, especially Cowboys fans, realize like we're not even close to being in the same league as the 49ers.
No.
You're just not. If you still think that you're a Super Bowl contender after that game, you're lying to yourself.
There are 3 or 4 Super Bowl contenders. Maybe there was more before Week 5.
Yeah.
But I think we got all of our answers that we needed to after this.
Oh, yeah.
Here.
Yeah. You know, and what can you say about San Fran? Purdy looks good under Shanahan. They have playmakers all over the field, both sides of the ball. They play hard as hell. That's a scary team. There's no weaknesses. And look, that Vikings game in a couple weeks is going to be brutal. Flex that out on Monday night, please.
There's not one.
So you got a 49er team like that coming into
Monday
minutes.
Night?
Yeah. And then you got primetime Kirk.
They set you up with Kirk against the 49ers on primetime?
Ain't that going to be a bitch?
That's fucking staged. Wow. Fred Warner might be my favorite player to watch in the league. He is phenomenal.
He's great.
This was just an ass whooping through and through, top to bottom, start to finish.
It was a great way
Every
to end
time
the
I
week.
looked up, Dak Prescott was throwing an interception. San Francisco owns these boys right here.
They do.
No question.
And
about
credit to George Kittle for rocking that fuck Dallas shirt.
I was going to ask you about that. 3 catches, 3 touchdowns, and a fuck Dallas shirt. If
That's
there's
what I'm talking
Any player in the
about.
league you could have been, probably has the coldest celebration in my opinion. That bitch is cold as hell. George Kittle would have been your guy this week.
Hell yeah. I respect the hell out of him for doing that because that's all I'm about is fuck Dallas, fuck Green Bay. You know, those are my 2 hated squads the most.
Yeah, we all got them.
Yeah. And you know Stephen A. was loving it.
Oh, he shows up with his cowboy hat. and shirt. He's a fucking hater to the 10th degree.
Oh, my God. Yeah, no, I there's not much else to say about that game, though. It's just Dallas got a beating put on them, and I just think the 49ers, after what I've seen through 5 weeks of the season, they're in another class of their own for across the board. I think they should have their own tier.
Yeah, I mean, they should. There's obviously has to be 2 Super Bowl contenders at least. But
I really think this is the year they put it all together and get that Lombardi.
they've been so close over these past few years.
This is the year, bro.
Do you think Purdy's better than Lamar?
I don't think he's better than Lamar, but I just think he's in the right scheme, the right coach. It's just all lined up to be.
He doesn't make mistakes.
It's kind of like they're like the new Belichick Brady.
I just love a quarterback that doesn't make mistakes.
Well, that's what Shanahan needs is that's what I
That's
think.
what we're saying. Yeah,
That's why he wanted Kirk so much before he went over to.
Yeah.
He wanted Kirk more than any. That was the quarterback he was pounding the table for to go get when he was on the trade table or on the trade talks. Like Shanahan's not. He's a smart coach, bro. There's a reason why him and his dad drafted Kirk to Washington.
Right.
So, But do I think Purdy is the same quarterback if he doesn't have Shanahan? Probably not. But I think going forward he can be though because he's in that system now. He's with that coach. He's been coached. He's learned. He's taken that, and I think by the time they end up splitting wherever that may be down the road, he'll be one of those top 15, top 10 quarterbacks.
I can agree with that. Ready for Week 6 picks?
Mm-hmm.
Heading into Week 6, 2 teams on bye: Green Bay Packers, Pittsburgh Steelers. Thursday Night Football. Denver at 1-4, KC 4-1.
Not much needs to be
I was
discussed.
just waiting for something to be said.
KC all the way.
KC easily. They're not the team that they have been.
No, but
they should handle.
I think they have enough time left in the season to kind of regroup and kind of get things to click. Like they look, and that's the great thing about having a head coach like Andy Reid and a quarterback like Mahomes. They're eventually going to figure it out this year.
Yeah, I feel the same way about Philly,
and they'll get it cracking by playoff time.
Yeah, their receivers haven't been dropping as many passes lately, which is really the big issue they've been having. Turnovers here and there. Obviously, Jets played a very good defensive game against them, but Kansas City, Philly, they're figuring it out slowly but surely. Across the pond, we have Baltimore at 3-2 on the road at Tennessee 2-3. These games are always tough. They're always close. They always come down to the last 5 minutes. Tennessee just doesn't have the offense to hang with us, I don't think. I did say about 2 hours ago we're going to lose to the Titans. Now that I'm on wax, it's Baltimore.
Yeah, no, I got Baltimore in this one. They should win this game. I think they have a little bit of a sour taste in their mouth losing to Pittsburgh. They'll get some things corrected, and they'll show up and put a W on the board.
Look, man, Tennessee isn't the running team they used to be. It's one of our strong suits of our defense. They're definitely not the passing team they used to be.
No.
Hopkins does scare me. I think he's still elite, but we should be able to neutralize that passing game. And
I agree.
Henry, so
yeah.
Minnesota at 1-4 on the road at Chicago 1-4. This is for all the marbles right here, man. This is the Caleb Williams sweepstakes.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you right now, I got the Chicago Bears in this one.
Wow. Look, there's no JJ.
No, there's not.
So there's a high possibility that Chicago could win this game.
Look, I just think based off what Chicago's done the past week or two.
2 weeks, they've looked phenomenal.
Look, I don't see anyone on defense who can really, truly cover DJ Moore. Yeah.
24, Bynum.
Yeah.
He's been playing decent this year.
He's been playing decent. Mekhi Blackman's kind of having a good rookie season. But
you have missed some.
I don't trust. I just don't. Especially with Fields being able to still run the ball, like getting after him. We've never been good at containing the quarterback.
Yeah.
So that scares me. And without JJ, TJ drops a bunch of passes. Jordan Addison hasn't been getting the looks he deserves, but now he's going to be kind of forced to. KJ makes a bunch of mistakes, runs terrible routes. Our run game is what it is. Look,
Oliver's a blocker,
and I don't trust Kirk to put the whole team on his back and carry us to a win. He's not that type of quarterback. So look, I'm picking the upset here. I think this is the year for the Vikings to just fully send that terrible record again.
Well, I think if they lose this one, all bets are off because you're not beating San Fran the next week.
No.
JJ's going to be out. It might be time to call off the dogs for the season at that point.
Yeah, and I think we're already there. I think we're already at that point, and that's why I feel more comfortable picking the Bears, especially at home. And look, I think that we're not dumb. They see the same schedule. They see what's coming up. Like, I know they're probably going to give it everything they got to win this game. I just don't trust them to do it. They're still going to shoot themselves in the foot. And you know what? The only other outcome I see is the Vikings somehow dominating the Bears miraculously and then going out and getting mollywopped against the 49ers. So they give that false confidence, just because we beat a division opponent.
Held them to 10 points.
They've
been dynamic for 2 weeks.
So, but I'm not going that route. I'm taking the Bears here because I think, I'm going to trust the Bears in this spot more than I do the Vikings, just after what I've seen all year.
Yeah, well, for at least 16 games in a row, we've agreed with each other. That stops here. I do have the Vikings beating the Bears on the road at Soldier Field, so I got a little hope left for you guys still. Indianapolis at 3-2 on the road at Jacksonville 3-2. A battle for number 1 seed in the AFC South. We mentioned earlier, AR is going to be out of this game probably for a month or so with that shoulder injury. Gardner Minshew will get the start at quarterback on the road against Jacksonville, who finally put it together on offense last week against a very good Buffalo defense. Tough game to call, honestly. Jeez, I don't trust any of these teams. I'm gonna take Jacksonville. I think they're gonna keep it going a little bit. I don't have a lot of faith in it. Gardner Minshew, I feel like I do like him better than Trevor Lawrence, and I feel like I trust him a little more. But I just think Jacksonville has a little bit more firepower offensively. The defense kind of came along last week, holding Buffalo to only 20 points. I think they can do something similar to Indianapolis, so I got Jacksonville in this one.
You know what? I think
sure my hardest pick though.
I'm taking Jacksonville in this one. I just with AR being out. I mean, I know they have JT back, but I don't know. Sometimes I feel like Indianapolis doesn't play good down in Florida. They just have that about. I don't know. But then Jackson will come back to Indy and they'll play them better and they'll pull off a win. So I don't know. It's just these two. This game is always tough for me, especially where they're at in each the point they're at in each organization.
Yeah.
I mean,
I kind of think Jacksonville's getting fucked on this. You mentioned Indianapolis going to Florida to play. We were just overseas for 2 weeks. can we get a bye or something?
Well,
Now I got to acclimate back to.
That's
this
the other
time.
thing. Yeah, that's the
So,
other thing too. Is
that
that
could fuck
that
them up a
could
little
that could play a factor. Honestly, I'm still gonna roll with Jacksonville, but based on how you made this pick, I know I should be going Indy because that's just what it's gonna be. But I will say, hey, Jacksonville, give Minnesota a call. That Daniil would be a good pickup for you guys.
Third, or you taking what's his name, Trey Walker?
No, we'll take a third. I don't believe in Trey Walker.
No, he's a bum. He's a bust.
But he's one of the reasons they should call.
I agree. Just because you're not producing, we have a guy that can produce instead of him. Seattle at 3-1 on the road at Cincinnati 2-3. Seattle coming off their bye week early in the season. I never really liked that for teams, but it shouldn't matter for this game. Cincinnati, are they back? They put up 34 points against Arizona. Jamar Chase, 3 touchdowns. Joe Burrow over 300 yards. Did throw a bomb, looked nice. Calf looked decent.
Yep.
Who knows? Cincinnati could be back. If they are, this is going to be a shootout and a very fun game. I don't know if I believe in them quite yet. I'm going to have to see it for another week before I pick Cincinnati and feel comfortable with them. So I got Seattle in this one.
I got Seattle as well. I just think the way Seattle's been playing, especially coming off that, that dominant performance on Monday Night Football against the Giants, you get your bye week. It's a little early for a bye week that I don't like those early bye weeks. But you get some rest now, and
we got 4 months of football left.
Look, yeah, exactly. I think, but I just. Yeah, like you said, the Cincy game against Arizona, I think, Arizona's still a bad team. I think it might have been fool's gold. So I don't know. But if they prove me wrong again this week, then I'll start to believe.
Yep, I agree. Washington, 2-3 at Atlanta, 3-2. 2 teams who I think their records should be reversed, but they're not. And I think Washington is the better team with the worst record. So I will go ahead and take them on the road at Atlanta. I don't believe in Desmond Ridder. We've talked about Sam Howell. I liked how he's produced this year. Eric Bieniemy, they have the offense looking pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
Terry McLaurin, I'm glad he's having some success over there. Else, I'd definitely be requesting a trade for him. Washington on the road, I think they're going to step on Atlanta here.
After the way they got embarrassed against the Bears, you're going to see a different Washington team, and they're taking the W here.
Yep. San Francisco 5-0 on the road at Cleveland, 2-2 coming off their bye. See, it seems that way. Cleveland does have the best passing defense and rushing defense in the league.
But what they did against Baltimore, kind of like
with no Deshaun Watson,
right? But their defense was still out there.
But like we've talked about with the Giants, Jets, it's kind of demoralizing.
Look,
throwing a bum out there.
Cleveland is the most dominant team in the league right now.
San Fran.
San Fran. Yeah, sorry.
No argument.
San Fran is the most dominant team in the league right now. And even this Cleveland defense who's been, I think, overperforming, I just don't – they're not going to be able to do anything to stop. If you can't stop Lamar and co., I mean, you're not going to stop Purdy and co.
Probably not.
So – and
there probably aren't a lot of teams on the San Fran schedule who can even compete with them. I think Cleveland would be one of them.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to pick Cleveland in the upset.
It's not going to be a blowout like last game.
I don't think so.
No, it won't. But, man, it's just
it could be.
It could be. After what they did to Dallas, you kind of believe that they could do that to anyone.
There's a lot of teams who kind of play similar to each other. I don't think San Francisco plays like anybody else.
They're in a tier of their own, bro. Like they are in their own league. That especially this year. I feel bad for whoever has to go up against them in the playoffs if they're healthy.
They're scary, bro. We have Carolina at 0-5 on the road at Miami, 4-1.
Carolina. No, I'm just kidding.
Miami should make easy work of the Panthers. I know we like their defense, but Miami's good for 30 points.
No, yeah, Miami shouldn't have a problem here. I think they got the number 1 offense in the league. Good luck to Carolina's defense trying to stop that. And Carolina's defense is banged up now, too.
Yeah,
so.
It's pretty banged up. And Miami's defense isn't terrible, so Bryce Young is going to continue to struggle. They're going to fall to 0-6. I don't even think they have the draft pick next year, which really sucks.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Carolina's they're kind of in no man's land right now.
Right.
New Orleans at 3-2 on the road at Houston, 2-3. They sold me last week, but I just don't like New Orleans at all. I'm going to go with Houston again.
God damn, bro. We always be thinking along the same lines.
I just can't trust New Orleans.
I can't either. And but see, that's not and I'm sorry to say that game didn't show me anything for New Orleans because it was more so about just how bad New England was. Or is.
New England might be the worst team in the world.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And so New Orleans putting a 34 donut on them doesn't do anything for me. Yeah, I believe in what Houston's doing. Houston can go out and beat New England right now. Period.
Houston, whatever, the record is what it is, but they've been consistent. They've been
and they're just getting it better and better.
New Orleans put up 35 last week. The week before, I don't know, they probably had 10. It wouldn't surprise me. So I got more faith in Houston against the Saints.
I agree.
Afternoon games. We just briefly spoke about them. These are two bottom 6 teams, in my opinion. We have New England on the road at Las Vegas, 1-4 at 2-3. I just told you they might be the worst team. I'm not picking them. I got Vegas at home.
This could go either way. I mean, I got Vegas as well, but
they're so untrustworthy.
The battle of Patriots, you know,
McDaniels, Garoppolo.
They're gonna want to outdo each other.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know what to expect of this one, but I'm going freaking Raiders all the way because I just think what Mac Jones and that team is doing is just so bad. It's not even funny.
It can't even be fun coming to work anymore. There hasn't been a smile in that organization in 3 weeks. You know Bill's not happy. He's probably lighting into people's asses right now. I mean, nothing in New England is looking positive.
No.
Detroit at 4-1 on the road at Tampa 3-1.
I'm looking forward to this game.
Could honestly be an exciting game. Baker lives for games like this where he can sling the rock. Doesn't really have to follow the game plan. Let me drop back 7 steps. Who's open?
I think it fares well for them, too, being at home instead of in Ford Field.
They're coming off a bye. They had a week to prepare.
So
the defense has been solid this year.
Yeah.
Mike Evans probably got hurt week 4. I don't know, but he got some time to heal if he did. Detroit does have a chance.
I think I'm looking forward to this game.
You what?
I'm looking forward to this game more than anything.
This is one of the better games of the week. And I think Detroit will step to 5-1, but Tampa will give them a nice fight in this one.
I agree. I think Detroit pulls it off here. I just think they keep building upon what they're doing and proving to everyone that they are for real.
They are for real. And this is another nice test right here. A 3-1 Tampa Bay team has been a surprise. You're supposed to work them out. Arizona at 1-4 on the road at the Rams 2-3. Two teams who have been very feisty this year.
Mm-hmm.
Can't really say the
this
Rams
is an interesting division.
It was
after 49ers.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I think, the addition to Cooper Kupp last game, he started hot. Puka Nacua scored a touchdown. That duo is going to be very nice going forward. I don't think Arizona has anything to mess with that duo at all.
No, they don't. This is an easy pick. I got Rams.
Rams are going to handle Arizona, but I do think it will be a fight early.
I agree with that. I just think the way Arizona is competing and not just rolling over says a lot about them and who they are.
I respect it.
I do too. It's just very because a lot of teams. What we're coming into this season expecting is just like a complete tank for Caleb and but they're look. I don't know. Sometimes that's a bad thing though because it sets you back and you don't get that quarterback you want. And I think after this year you kind of almost have to move off of Kyler Murray, and I'm scared about that because I don't want the Vikings to grab him.
Tanking is tricky. I think it depends on the situation. Like for the Vikings, it's tough because you're gonna have the same coach, same GM next year, and now you're putting that into the organization. Like we're okay losing
exactly
games this year,
exactly.
and we're gonna come back with the same group of guys. Whereas the Cardinals, we tanked. We got rid of this coach. We drafted Kyler Murray. We brought Kingsbury in.
Yep.
The culture's different. It didn't work out, or hasn't worked out so far. But
you don't want to ingrain losing and all that shit in your.
That was the word I was looking for. Yeah. New York Jets. Philly 5-0 on the road at the New York Jets 2-3. Easy. I think the Jets are going to play some solid defense this game as they usually do.
Philly's just too much for them.
Philly's. I mean, if it wasn't for San Francisco, we'd be talking a lot more about Philly.
Philly's defense,
kind of like how it was last year.
Philly's defense might have a defensive touchdown or two.
There's potential for it. Zach Wilson. Yeah, you got your win last week, but I don't really feel confident in you.
No, hell no.
New York Giants at 1-4 on the road at Buffalo 3-2. I think this is going to be one of the stinkers of the week for sure.
Yeah, it is.
Buffalo
should have no problem with this team, and if they do,
yeah, real concerns. And then maybe we'll start talking about why Diggs is so mad on the sideline all the time.
Right.
This should be 17-point game.
Oh, easy.
Dallas at 3-2 on the road at the Chargers 2-2. Chargers coming off their bye. Dallas coming off probably their most embarrassing loss in the past couple of years here. Two teams that I do not trust at all. Two coaches I do not trust at all.
This is going to be an interesting
I
game.
I do not trust at all. I do think Eckler's supposed to be back. Dallas is going to have some fire under their ass trying to stop this offense, though. If it comes down to the last possession, I'm going to trust the Chargers a little bit over the Dallas Cowboys, so I'll take Chargers in this one.
Well, just to keep it different, I'm going Cowboys. But I so badly want to pick the Chargers. So, but if I didn't choose that way, we would only have the Vikings game be different, and
can't have that.
We need to have a little bit of difference in there. But I would love to pick the Chargers, but I actually would have picked the Cowboys anyways, just because I just think they're the overall better team still.
Think they're the better team
so
as well.
If they have an issue losing, I mean, I could see the Chargers giving them some fits and keeping it close, but in reality, especially after that ass cooking you just took, you should be out for blood and score at will on these guys.
Question. So our records are 44-34 for me, 47-31 for you. It does help that you picked a couple different teams than I did, but I want to be able to tie you this week with the picks that we made. I thought they would be different, though. I thought a lot of these games were pretty tough. There's only about 3 stinkers, I think.
Yeah.
Buffalo game and like Miami or whatever, but
shit, yeah. Vikings.
We've always been on the fucking same page for some reason.
Yeah, I know. I always think doing my picks, I'm gonna have a couple of different ones, but I never do. It's like, goddamn, I thought that Washington one for sure was gonna.
And I like Atlanta.
That's what I
Desmond Ritter.
I think I thought you were picking Atlanta, but
you threw for 350. You're throwing for 114 this week.
Yeah, I know exactly.
So I got Washington.
It just as long as Ritter's the quarterback, I just don't like the Falcons.
I just can't. You really got to be playing Arizona or something
right.
for me to feel comfortable in that. But
I agree.
That's it for me. Anything else?
No.
Week 6 for you?
Nope, I'm good to go. Yeah, we had a little switch up this week, obviously, but we'll be back with the 2 episodes next week. So, but yeah, that's it for me. We'll see how these games go this week. And, man, what a rough start of the season.
Bro.
Like I said, it's even though look, I keep saying it's only been 5 games in the season, but it seems like so much more already because
it's really only 5 locks in the NFC.
This has been the longest 5-game season of my life so far. So it's really felt like it's been
after everything went right last season. It's so crazy that everything is going wrong.
No, but you kind of expected that. I mean that was one of the luckiest seasons for a team to have in the history of football.
You can't even write this shit.
The ball does not bounce your way that many times in one single season. It really doesn't.
It never does. Rarely, I should say.
And so I was saying all last season, I just don't believe in this team. I think it's a bad team. I really do. We're just getting lucky. I don't know how. I don't know how it's happening, but we're getting super fucking lucky. And it's tricking everyone into believing that we are some great team. But yeah, look, it's going to be, I can't believe, like I said, I can't believe it's only been 5 games. It feels like we've done a whole season already talking about this shit. Because it's just like, what the fuck? But, I mean, like I said, I'm more excited now to really get my head wrapped around the league as a whole and not just solely base my mood off the Vikings,
right?
Because I know what it is already. So thank God it's happened this soon, rather than get down to the fucking wire of the playoffs, and we're tiptoeing that line, and just to be like shattered at the end.
Yep.
Like I'll gladly take this early season lump, take it for what it is, and now I can fully enjoy the NFL season.
The whole season,
you know what I mean? So that's what I'm thankful for, because look, I hate because as a Vikings fan, even when you have a good season, you like last year, you think like, oh, maybe,
but it's coming.
So it's just like, and that's the thing, like, but like being a true fan and like a diehard fan of your squad, you can really feel when you got something good.
Mm-hmm.
Like that 98-09 season, like you knew you had that it factor.
Mm-hmm.
Like no team can fuck with you.
When was the miracle? 2020?
2017.
17?
And even that season,
It's
like
that
you,
long ago.
even that season, you could feel like it was in the air. Like it was just like even with Case Keenum court,
Right.
you couldn't explain it,
Right.
but you just knew we were good all around.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the feeling I strive to have every year, but you just know it's not going to happen.
Yeah. You can't force it. It's either there or it's not.
But like I said though, you can feel when you have that good team. Last year, I just knew. Like this does not feel like a good season. It doesn't. You don't feel confident going into each game. You don't have that confidence that you can win. You're like, oh shit, what are we gonna do now to make this closer? It's just the constant like, and that's the thing is like last year too. It was just we didn't fumble as much, we didn't turn it over as much, but it was just poor O-line play, just critical mistakes at the wrong time. Like I don't know. It's just like I said. It stems to me. It comes down to coaching. I don't think KOC's
top.
it. I don't think KOC's the guy. Just great coordinator maybe. But as a head
Which
coach,
is the case for a lot of guys.
I don't see it, man. He's got the Brandon Staley vibes.
No.
No,
You're not gonna disrespect him.
I'm saying though, he's got like,
Brandon Staley got like Jeff Fisher vibes. He's bad.
but I don't know. KOC, like I said, Kwesi and him, probably you give him one more full year, give this next offseason a chance to see what they can do with the team. But you gotta kind of change your tune as head coach now and be more of okay, I gotta be a realist and not someone feeding my team butterflies and rainbows all the time.
Which is tough after 2 years, bro. Because I just saw you be butterflies and rainbows for 2 years. Now you're gonna try and be a hard ass.
Well, right, I know, but you can kind of switch it up in a way where it's not like you're going strictly hard ass mode. You know what I mean? But you kind of add that tone to you where it's like, okay, we had our fun, we've had our warming party, welcome home party type shit, but now it's time. Like we got to start building this thing into a consistent contender and consistent. I think every team should strive to do what the 49ers have been doing since Shanahan and John Lynch got there. Because what they've been doing, they had the one fuck up with Trey Lance, but other than that, the free agent signings, the trades, the drafting,
The development.
it's A1.
Mm-hmm.
That's what every team needs to strive to be.
I agree.
And on that note, mic drop.